Have you ever wondered, what is the safest place for a child, a peaceful resort in the woods, a fun date at the arcade, or a rainy afternoon after school? But sometimes it's in those seemingly harmless places that true horror waits hiding in the moment you let your guard down. In today's video, you'll hear 3 true stories, haunting memories retold by the very people who lived them, and to this day, they still can't forget. Story 1. The figure behind the fogged glass. I used to think nothing was scarier than a quiet forest in the middle of autumn. But one fateful vacation when I was 8 years old changed my mind. That October, my family stayed at a mountain resort in the Catskills, New York. It was isolated, tucked deep within the woods, rows of thick pines swallowing every sound. The resort was large, and there were other families around, but it still felt distant, detached. I was the third of 4 kids, quiet, shy, always wandering off on my own. That day, while my parents thought I was with my older brothers, I was actually walking the resort alone. I followed a winding concrete path past families playing bocce and croquet, but nothing really caught my eye. Until I stepped into the recreation hall, a dim arcade my dad had mentioned. It was full of old machines, pinball, Street Fighter, Pac-Man, their blinking lights casting flickering shadows. While I scanned the room, one thing stood out: a strange door tucked in the corner. It was made of frosted glass, the kind that blurs everything behind it into a soft, foggy mess. That's when I saw it. A tall figure standing motionless behind the glass. It didn't move, didn't speak. I stepped closer, trying to focus, but I could only make out the faint shape of a head and the eerie sense that it was staring right at me. I froze, my eyes locked on that shape. It never flinched. At first, I assumed it was a Halloween prop everyone decorates that time of year. But something felt off. Even without seeing its eyes clearly, I could feel them. I looked away, tried to act normal, played a few games. But the entire time I kept glancing back. The figure was still there, still watching. Finally, I couldn't take it. I walked back toward the door, pressing my palms against the cold glass. And just then, the blurry face began to smile. I jumped back. That wasn't a mannequin. That was a real person standing there watching me, smiling. I bolted out of the arcade, almost tripping over myself. But curiosity won. I turned back. The door was still there, but behind the glass, nothing. I opened the door. It led to a dark hallway, long, cold, and dead silent. I didn't step in. The air was heavy, as if something invisible was waiting for me just beyond the threshold. I turned and ran back to my room, locked the door, and hid under the covers until my parents returned. I told them, but they brushed it off. Just Halloween imagination, they said. That night during dinner in the shared dining hall, I saw him, sitting alone at a nearby table. Not eating, just staring. I froze. When I glanced again, he smiled, the exact same smile from behind the glass. I whispered to my dad. He turned to look, and the man stood up. But before leaving, he placed something on his table. A small red toy. The same one I dropped earlier that day. I never saw him again after that trip. But I always wonder, if I had stepped into that hallway, would I still be here to tell this story? Story 2. Messages from the invisible. I never thought I'd be stalked, especially not as a grown man. I met Alyssa through Instagram. She was 19. I was 23. She had a decent following, so I was surprised when she replied. We met a few times, but it quickly became uncomfortable. She was clingy, intense, acted like we were in a relationship after just days. I started to pull back. She didn't take it well. The texts kept coming. She'd get mad if I followed other girls. I ignored it, assuming she'd move on. I was wrong. A few weeks later, I was out with another girl, Meg. We went to Dave & Buster's to play games and hang out. Everything was fine, until the first text came in. Unknown number. A photo. It was me and Meg standing next to each other at the basketball arcade game, taken from a distance. The message read, "Didn't expect to see you here." I looked around. Didn't see Alyssa. Just some groups of people. And one tall man playing the jackpot game alone. I told myself it was just a prank. We moved to another area. Another text. Another photo from a new angle clearly taken from behind a pillar. This one read, "This game looks fun. Don't lose." I told Meg. She got quiet, visibly nervous. I scanned the room, same guy still playing, pretending not to notice us. We left early. Back at my place, Meg tried to reassure me. It's probably a friend messing around. Then another text arrived. "Nice house. Step outside for a sec." Attached was a photo of the front of my house, taken seconds ago. Then glass shattering, downstairs. I grabbed my Glock 19 and ran down. A tall man stood just outside holding a crowbar. He backed off when he saw the gun hands raised, stammering, I'm Alyssa's brother." He claimed I hurt her. He said he came to make things right. I yelled at him, told him I barely knew her. Meg called the cops. He was arrested on the spot. It was him, the man from the arcade. He had followed us, watched us, planned everything. I sent the arrest video to Alyssa. She didn't reply, but I know she saw it. After that night, I changed the way I use social media. Because you never really know who's watching from the other side of the screen. Story 3. The Man in the Rain. I was 10 when it happened. Back then, kids didn't have phones, and going to the arcade after school felt like pure freedom. It was raining that day. The place was nearly empty. Just me and my best friend Connor. We were playing Street Fighter when a man approached us. Tall, maybe mid-30s, eyes that never blinked. At first he just watched. Then he started commenting, cheering us on, patting our shoulders when we scored. He talked like he knew us, like he belonged. Something about his presence felt wrong. My heart beat too fast for no reason. We switched to air hockey. He followed, paid for the game. Kept talking, flat tone, cold stare. I scored a goal. He clapped my back hard, held his hand there. Too long. Connor looked at me. We both knew time to leave. Outside it was pouring. He offered us a ride. We said no. Big mistake. Minutes later, a red car started following us. I turned, he was driving, watching us. He rolled down the window and shouted, "Get in, boys. It's raining hard." We didn't answer. We walked faster. So did he. Then he sped up, cut in front, and blocked the sidewalk. I grabbed Connor's arm. "Run across the street," I yelled. We bolted, looped around side streets trying to lose him. He never got out of the car, but he followed, all the way to my house. I rang the doorbell non-stop. Mom opened the door just as the red car pulled away, vanishing like a ghost. Next morning, I opened the front door to walk to school, and saw it. The red car parked down the block. Dad rushed out. As he approached, the car peeled off and vanished. We called the police. He never came back. But every time it rains, I remember that man. His eyes through the windshield like he was waiting for the right time to return. These stories are a reminder that true fear doesn't always come from blood or ghosts, but from the eyes watching you when you think no one is there. If you've ever experienced something that still gives you chills, share your story in the comments below. It might be the next one we tell here. Thank you for watching, and until next time, in the shadows.